What is the Bible? Well, that's a great question. And you say, well, it's this book. It's the book that sits on my coffee table. It's the book on my shelf that I never open. Or it's the book that I'm told I'm supposed to be reading every morning and having devotionals. But if I were honest, it's just the book that I open up and I start to read, and it goes something like this. And the reason I say this is because this is what I used to do. And this is what every student in seminary that I've talked to, this is what they do. This was their past experience. They'd pick it up and they'd go, well, they start reading. They just kind of crack it open somewhere. Lord, guide my reading today. And they okay, Lord, I'll give you a mulligan, give you another chance. Okay, let's try this. And they start reading and they go, well, I don't know what that's saying. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's saying. I have no clue about that. Ooh, I like that verse. And they get out their pen and they highlight it and they make notes in the margin. You know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then they go back to read. I still don't know, don't understand. And so the Bible becomes hard to understand. You just feel like you're searching and making stuff up. But if you were to open up a novel and start to read the novel, you enter into the world of the storyteller. And so we want you to read the Bible like you read everything else. I love this quote. If you read the Bible like you read any other book, you will come to the realization that it's like no other book. The Bible is something totally different. The Bible's a story. It's a collection of 66 books, so many chapters and verses. The chapters and verses weren't included in the beginning. These authors just sat down and began to tell a story. Moses begins to tell a story. And so the Bible is a unified story. It begins in Genesis and it ends in Revelation. Stories begin at the beginning and they go to the end, and stories have a plot, and the plot drives the narrative. It drives the story. And so the middle of the story simply connects the beginning of the story to the end of the story. And so if you've never heard this, if you've just opened up your Philippians and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, did you ever notice that's Paul talking, and Paul's talking to the Philippians? And he doesn't say, y'all can do all things through Christ who strengthens y'all. Well, what's he saying? Well, we're going to learn to read in context. And, you know, by the time we get to Philippians, you'll know exactly what Paul is saying. But we're going to start at the beginning, and we're going to start with the story of the Bible. In fact, in a little bit, we're going to ask you to join along with us in a journey that takes you through the Bible in 1 year. And at the end of that year, you will know the Bible. In fact, you'll know the Bible. You know the story of the Bible long before we get into the story, long before we get into most of the story. And so we're going to ask you to join along. So the Bible is simply a collection of books. Think of it as chapters in a book, in a novel, or scenes in a movie. And each scene contributes to move the plot of the story along from the beginning, from Genesis all the way until Revelation. So that's our approach. We're not going to engage in a lot of Bible study methods. We're simply going to read the story. And as we read the story, we're going to learn about God. What's he like? We're going to learn about humanity. What are people like? What's the nature of people? What are our desires? What drives us? What drives the Lord? What's his plan? What's the solution to the problem? Or better stated, who is the solution to the problem that's created in the Bible, that's presented in the Bible? And it's the Lord Jesus Christ. And you're going to see how Christ is the solution to the problem. Not only the solution to the problem of creation, but the solution to all the problems in my life. That when he returns, he will fix all that is wrong with all of creation. So it's an amazing story. And we're going to enter into the world of the story. And so we ask for you to join along with us as we learn what is the Bible.